You've answered the call. Now, hear the story. It begins with two goddesses, one light, one dark. They created many worlds, but Maple World was their greatest. In every realm, there must be balance. But the goddess of light loved Maple World and warded it against the darkness. Fearing this imbalance, the goddess of darkness lashed out. So began their terrible war. The battle was long and brutal, but with the help of her sages, the goddess of light defeated her sister. As the goddess of darkness fell, she unleashed her fury, poisoning Maple World with her power. Unwilling to see her beloved creation destroyed, the goddess of light sacrificed herself to save it. What remained of her power became the great protector, Empress Erev. Erev gathered 7 heroes to stand against the darkness. Try as they might, they could not stop their world's slow corruption. Erev and her sages created 3 relics with power over life, space, and time. The Lepentus. These Lepentus could gather up the darkness and cleanse it all at once. So they thought. The day of their bold plan came, and the shadows pooled in one place. Even as they cast their purification ritual, the sages were gripped by the darkness. It took all of the Lepentus' power to protect Maple World from being utterly destroyed. The ritual site was corrupted, the whole region becoming a dreaded no-man's land. 2 of Erev's heroes, Syrian and Balaam, stepped forward. They journeyed into this land of darkness on a mission to save anyone trapped inside. There, they worked to complete the purification ritual. And, in doing so, they met their end. The land of darkness was sealed away, where it could hurt no one else. With their noble sacrifice, these 2 heroes had bought peace. But now, the shadows stir once more, and this miraculous peace is nearing its end. The time has come for champions to rise again. This is a story of heroes. This is your story.
Hello everyone, and welcome again to my channel. My name is String from GG2String, and today we are doing MapleStory 2. I actually just remade this character. I had them at level 10, but I thought we might as well go from the beginning. So I want to dedicate Mondays, at least for the short foreseeable future, to be MapleStory days, because I am currently addicted to MapleStory 2, and yeah, and MapleStory 1 will have a pretty big update coming soon with the Black Mage return. And I had actually recorded this last night, that's why I had... Oops,
Not everything is as simple as it appears. It's an easy truth to forget. But no matter how hidden, the truth is always revealed at the end. Sometimes, you get to see the real side of a person for just a moment. A person who is stronger than anyone else, but keeps it hidden. A person who never hesitates to help when they are needed. A person whose footsteps I work hard to follow in.
So I'm gonna let the dialogue go because there's no voices, so you can watch it if you want. I mean, sometimes there are voices, but there aren't, at least I'm pretty sure for this part. So yeah, for the foreseeable future, while I'm addicted to MapleStory 2, and with MapleStory 1 having a big update coming out, we're going to dedicate Mondays to MapleStory. Have MapleStory Mondays. So today my goal is to just get us to level 10, because everything between here and level 10 goes pretty quickly, and talk about some news that dropped today, because today, even though at the time of recording this, it's only like 12:30 or 1-ish, there's been a lot of news. So I'm trying to slow down the dialogue so that you guys can read it if you want to. I realized I went too fast for the first few. So yeah, even though I recorded this last night, we're going to re-record it so I could talk about some of the big news that dropped, in addition to what I've already discussed about Monday being MapleStory Day. So Tuesday, I have yet to decide yet. Wednesday, I want to be dedicated to Warcraft, whether that's Warcraft 3, which is probably going to be Warcraft 3 for the foreseeable future, because I don't have my WoW sub up yet. On Wednesday, and then Randomness Thursday, because ours day is Thursday. And then just need some ideas for Tuesday. Right now I'm thinking The Elder Scrolls Tuesday, and then we'll do playthroughs, some with builds mixed in there, and then Fridays can be, oh wow, we're already level 5, and then Fridays will be special. So yeah, so some big news dropped today. Such as Stan Lee, creator of Marvel Comics. I guess he's not the creator, but he's the face that almost everyone associates with Marvel Comics. He has passed away today at the good old age of 95, so he did live a long, pretty fulfilling life, despite the recent drama that's been surrounding him with the elder abuse and all of that. But I still think there are some interviews about him saying, like, you know, he misses being able to read and everything, but I would say that he lived an extremely good life that he should be proud of, and that everyone that I personally know is proud of him for. I'm proud of him for the characters that he created with Marvel are a dynasty, and my favorite superheroes are from Marvel. They're not from DC. Sorry to DC fans, but I grew up with like all of the Stan Lee superheroes. Like Spider-Man was my favorite superhero growing up, and to this day he still is my favorite superhero of all time. Yeah, and then with the MCU, I grew up with the MCU as well. I was like 7 or 8 when the first Iron Man came out, and with Infinity War coming out last year, I was 18. So, like, the MCU is like Smosh, which is something I'm also going to talk about later. The MCU is something that I just grew up with, and there's, sorry if you can hear my expo marker, and I'm sure that a lot of people out there can relate to growing up with Marvel superheroes, and especially growing up with the MCU. It's just a dynasty, and I just want to give my thanks and respects to Stan Lee for all the work that he has done in, you know, making my childhood extremely fun, and doing the same for not just me, and for all of you others out there who feel the same way. and more nerd news to talk about that's not sad, or I guess maybe not sad for me, but might be sad for some of you, is the Detective Pikachu trailer dropped a few hours ago this morning. And it looks alright, I'll say. I know I hear a lot of people trashing on it, and I also hear a lot of people praising it. So I'm gonna kind of ride the middle ground. I'm never gonna say personally that a movie is like bad unless I don't like it, because I think that movies are not, at least as far as a lot of casual watchers are concerned, not based on whether or not the movie's good, it's whether or not someone likes it or not. So that's how I define movies, personally. So I don't think I've ever watched a bad movie, because I've enjoyed almost every movie I've watched through. And even the ones I haven't enjoyed all the way, there were some enjoyable parts, so there were good parts of even movies that I would consider bad. But back to the topic at hand, which is Detective Pikachu. I think the trailer's alright. The thing that sort of trips me up about it is, yes, I do think it is funny. I do think it will be somewhat of an enjoyable experience as a movie. I do not think it will be like a critically acclaimed good movie. I think it will be cheesy and corny. I do think that people who watch Pokemon will thoroughly enjoy it. People who, or I mean, not necessarily watch play, you know, who are Pokemon fans, will enjoy it just for the spectacle. But some of the things in there were kind of weird. One of the things I didn't super like is that all of the Pokemon, including like Bulbasaur and the Charizard and the Greninjas that we saw in the trailer, they all looked Muppety, as opposed to, like, Pikachu can look Muppety, Jigglypuff can look Muppety, just because they're sort of animals, but like, I think Charizard, and at the very least Greninja, should not look Muppety, puppety furry, because Charizard's a dragon, and dragons don't have fur typically, to my knowledge, and then Greninja's a frog, and then frogs are also not furry. They're usually pretty amphibious and slick. But if that's a good art style to choose from, in my opinion. If they had to pick one, I'd rather they do that than make them all CGI and all look kind of weird. But yeah, I would rather them have like a sort of mix, maybe, as opposed to having them all be Muppety. There was some funny jokes in there. My decision on the cast, I'm not gonna, I think there's a cutscene here actually, so let me shut up and then I'll talk about the cast in a second. Oh, never mind. The cutscene's later. If there even is one on this character. I forget. So I do think Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu is a good choice, because I think he's a type of actor that likes nerdy things, so he'll be into it, and he also is funny, and it seems like that's the type of tone that the movie's trying to take, is like a funny detective flick, which granted, detective is in the name, so that seems redundant, but I do think that the comedy in the movie is going to be pretty amazing. Even though it might be cheesy, corny, and maybe not a good movie overall. The fan service in the trailer was pretty cool. There was some flying, there was some breathing fire, there was some Greninja. I didn't watch the trailer more than once, I only watched it once, unfortunately, because I wanted to get to recording this. But the Greninjas looked cool. The Jigglypuff on the table with the sleeping dude looked cool. I hope she drew on his face, because that would be amazing. You know, throwback to the old Pokemon Indigo League cartoon and all the Pokemon movies with Jigglypuff in it. If they don't do that, I'm going to be upset. But The Jigglypuff looked cool, the Charizard looked cool, the Greninja looked cool, the Pikachu looked cool. The sound design, in my opinion, when it switched from Ryan Reynolds' voice to showing the other people's perspective when the main character asked, "Can you guys hear him too, or is it just me?" And then it did the Pika Pika sound. That was also really cool in my opinion. So overall, I think if you are a Pokemon fan, then Detective Pikachu is going to be something that you want to hit up, and I would so far recommend it. I would recommend actually every movie that if you think might be an enjoyable experience, that you should go watch it. I think people should watch more movies, even though movies are really expensive now for whatever reason. The price has just been going up and up and up. So that does me good on Detective Pikachu. So my next topic that I wanted to talk about is Smosh. So the whole Defy Media thing. Oh, this guy actually speaks, I think, so.
I am Nelf, Royal Court Manager.
Alright. So let's
How may I help you?
So let's keep talking. The whole Defy Media thing that went down last week. Yeah, it's hard to believe that it was already an entire week ago at this point. Not an entire week, but most of a week. I have a hiccup, sorry for my cutting out. That it's sort of blowing over pretty quickly. Smosh got a video out. You should follow all of their Twitters, by the way, just in case the videos stop going out. But apparently, Jan Hecox, co-founder of Smosh, got access to the channels again, which is pretty interesting. So we might be getting more content despite them not having a parent company.
That was
So,
scary. Jeez.
to those of you that are in my same boat of, you know, growing up with Smosh, really enjoying the brand growth with Smosh games, especially Smosh games, and also the Smosh Squad with Smosh Pit. There used to be Smosh second channel, and then even the Smosh main videos, all being enjoyable watches for you. Then go watch the video they put out today. Hopefully I'll remember to link it in the description. And also go follow their Twitters and everything, just to keep up with that news. And while we're on the topic of Twitter, I know I said I was finished with the Stan Lee stuff, but you should also hit up the MCU actors' Twitters, because they wrote some pretty good things, especially Chris Evans' tweet. I loved Chris Evans' tweet about Stan Lee. So go ahead and hit up those. But yeah, that's about all I have to talk about as far as out-of-game content is concerned. So let's go ahead and get us to level 10, get us to Tria, and then we'll be on our way. So the next thing, so for those of you that haven't been paying too much attention to the video, what has happened so far is we woke up the elf leader's lazy brother, Archer, lazy brother, and went out to do some hunting after cleaning up for him. And he sided with someone that will soon see, the Dark Lord, which I can't tell if that's the main bad guy of the game yet. I haven't gotten to level 16 to finish the storyline, but he might be the main bad guy. And then we had to fight him, and he spared us, and then went off. So in order to chase him down, we are helping escort a caravan with this incompetent guard, Jody. We just encountered this chick here. With magic powers. So let's go ahead and keep on going. There's another Dark Lord guard, I presume. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. So, after encountering those two magic chicks and then fighting this big old dragon, we passed out, and now we are waking up here. So, MapleStory 2, I do enjoy the sound design. I'm just going to talk about how much I love MapleStory 2 right now, because I'm addicted to it, and I think more people should be playing the game. Even though I know my friends who are hardcore MapleStory 1 fans really don't like the game, but I personally enjoy the game. I think the gameplay is fun. Some of you might notice I'm playing with a controller. I would not recommend playing with a controller. It's difficult, but if you want to be like me and be weird, then have fun. It's pretty fun once you get the hang of it, and if you're not super easily frustrated with the lack of clarity that the controller gives. But it lets me make pretty sick circles that are sort of difficult to do with keyboard keys. It does make aiming with some abilities difficult, but that's chill. It also does make using multiple abilities difficult, because you have to change from left trigger to right trigger. But I do think that once you get the hang of it, it can be an extremely fun experience. Oh, hello, Peachy. Okay, let's go. These Madron Pale Knights ain't got nothing on me. Alright, let's see. Where else are... Also, forgive me if you can hear my family in the background. I have a really thick door, but they're still really loud. So, let's go ahead and just keep on going. Let's keep trying to save Peachy. Is she okay? Also, the fan service in this game is... that's one thing I don't necessarily agree with. I mean, sure, fan service is good and fun. I just think this game takes it to a little bit too extreme of a level. Like in Sword Art Online 2, Sword Art Online, the first arc, fan service with Yolko when they're doing the... What is that? The investigation into Griselda's murder. The fan service with her was kind of weird. And so is the fan service with... what's her name? The Dragon Tamer girl. But this takes it to a whole new level, even compared to that. And it's sort of weird. But, like, if you've ever seen when you make an assassin, the fan service with her in the screen is certainly a little bit weird. And fighting in this game is actually really fluid. The gameplay is actually fun, if you're not bad like me. And yeah. Ooh, laser. The effects are really cool. The archer is actually the least
I'll never give up.
visually impressive class that I've played. The feedback on the archer is not super good. I think they could make the effects cooler, have more impact, because even though I'm doing a lot of damage, it doesn't look like I'm doing literally anything. So maybe ability, visuals, and impact could be upgraded for the archer class, but for all of the other classes, because I've played all the other classes, even the heavy gunner feels a little bit awkward too. But I didn't play too much of the knight, so I don't know if the knight also feels the same way, but it sort of did during the tutorial. Could also have some upgrade ability on the impact, in my opinion, early game. But like the mage, the thief, the priest, even on the big ol' circle that you have, and the rune blade, they all have extremely good looking animations that feel impactful, feel like you're doing a lot, especially when you're doing a lot.
What's going on?
And it's really important. So now after saving Peachy and again passing out, we are getting an interview with Empress Arev, which I don't know how this canonicity works with MapleStory 1. If anyone knows, please let me know, because it's sort of confusing to me personally. But I think they are completely separate canonicities. So calling it MapleStory 2, I do agree with this, some of my friends say, is that because it is probably a completely different canonicity, that it should not be called MapleStory 2. It should be called something else, MapleStory something, as opposed to a direct sequel, because it's not a continuation of the storyline at all. It's not the same universe, or maybe it is, but it doesn't feel like it's super. But now that we're done with this, we've gotten our interview with Empress Arev. There's the priest lady on the right, there's the knight dude on the, priest lady on the left, knight dude on the right, possibly evil minister on the right as well. He seems relatively suspicious.
I want to be dependable.
Now that we're done with this, we can go ahead and equip our new bow, get ahead and go outside here, and finish our first episode of MapleStory Monday. So, if you guys want to stick around tomorrow for the Elder Scrolls Tuesday, because that's the current plan, unless I get something really good in the comment section down below, then please be sure to subscribe. If you like this content, want to see more of it, want to see more news, or any of the other future videos that I will be making, go ahead and subscribe. If you did enjoy this video, let's go ahead and please leave a like and some comments describing what you liked about it, or if you have any complaints, go ahead and leave those down in the comment section down below. Feel free. I'm not a super sensitive human being. That is not what I wanted to do. This is what I want to do. Let's go ahead and level up Evasive Salvo.
A new ability!
And
exciting!
now that we've done this, actually, where are my wings? There we go. Let's go ahead and bid you guys farewell. In respect to Stanley, I bid you guys Excelsior.